All right, guys, we're back with predictions. This time, Group B for the 2026 World Cup, the second round of matches. And the reason why I'm trying to get these videos out early is because there's so many games and there's so little time. Because I'm just a regular person. I'm just doing this along with my everyday life. So I gotta actually take advantage of whatever time I got to get these videos out early. So we could talk World Cup, man. Let's talk Group B. Canada, Bosnia Herzegovina, Qatar, and Switzerland. Points shared all across the board. We had 1-1 draws in both of the opening fixtures for Group B. Canada won, Bosnia Herzegovina won, Switzerland won, Qatar won. That was an exciting game, though. Qatar scoring late. Give it up to Qatar. Let's talk about the fixture between Switzerland and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Two European teams clashing at the World Cup. And this one's going to be a very good one, though. This one's going to be a good one. As for the table, Switzerland on top of the table, Canada second, Qatar third, Bosnia and Herzegovina at the bottom, all 1 point. So I don't know the criteria in which the teams line up right now with points shared, because they all score the same amount of goals, everything. Maybe it boils down to yellow cards or something like that right about now. So the group is wide open after match day one, and it's anybody's group for the taking right now. So whatever your predictions were, the group is wide open. My predictions for this group, I predicted Switzerland to top, Bosnia and Herzegovina to come in second, Canada third as host, but to qualify as one of the best third place teams, and Qatar fourth. But that's not the way it's going to end up, in my opinion. Head-to-head, Switzerland versus Bosnia. There's been only one previous meeting. I'm kind of surprised by that, though. One previous meeting between these two teams back in 2016. It was a friendly. It ended in a 2-0 win for Bosnia and Herzegovina, with the veteran striker Edin Dzeko scoring, along with the retired midfield maestro Miralem Pjanic. So that's that for the head-to-head. So it'd be the only second ever meeting between the two European sides. I don't know why. Maybe there's not good diplomatic relations between the two countries, but Switzerland are known as one of the most diplomatic countries. So maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there is. So players to watch for Switzerland. Their defense fell asleep in the game against Qatar and allowed them to equalize late in the match. There was a few mistakes that allowed Qatar to get in behind, and they would need to clean up their act, man. They were a bit suspect, bit susceptible to Qatar's quick build-up and fast play. The attack didn't finish off as well. They didn't finish off the game. They had a lot of opportunities. They they basically played with their food, and they basically give up 2 points because they should have won the game. No way Qatar should have been allowed to equalize there, but you gotta give it to Qatar for just having a fighting spirit, never ever say die attitude, and just shows you that with football, the game ain't over until the last whistle is blown. So I'm saying their leader, Granit Xhaka, who is the link between defense and attack, he needs to actually inspire the team to do better. I think Switzerland were actually missing a creative, wild card type of player like the way Jordan Shaqiri is. And we could see an introduction of Johan Manzambi, one of the emerging stars of this team. I don't expect a lot of changes to be made by Murat Yakin, but maybe a few changes to just try to rectify that whole situation. They did create a lot of chances, but they need to create chances that are going to unlock the defense and create clearer opportunities to score. Goalkeeper Gregor Kobel was actually very solid in the game as well. in that game against Qatar. He was forced into some big saves, and they're going to definitely need him here against Bosnia and Herzegovina. For Bosnia, Jovo Lukic, he scored his first international goal in the last game versus Canada, while deputizing for the injured or not fit Edin Dzeko. I expect Jovo Lukic to start again. You're not going to bench a player who scored in the first game. If Dzeko is fit enough to play some minutes, he's going to come off the bench, in my opinion. I don't expect Sergei Barbarez, the head coach, to make too many changes to a side that actually picked up a point against a host nation, Canada. So don't look for many changes here for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel. In terms of injuries and suspension here, Switzerland remained fit after the opening match. But for Bosnia, Sead Kolasinac went off with some injury concern, but may still feature in this match. He's a tank. He's a workhorse. So we may still see Sead Kolasinac from the start. Edin Dzeko may still not be ready to start this match, but may actually be on the bench. Prediction for this game. Oh boy. I think Switzerland will play with most of the ball, control proceedings here, and Bosnia would basically look to soak up the pressure, and, you know, they would feed on very few opportunities. I expect a more clinical performance from the Swiss team. They have a lot of quality, you know, in the 11. Players who've been playing with each other for a very, very long time. You know, guys like Ricardo Rodriguez and Manuel Akanji, Granit Xhaka, you know, Brill, Embolo, Remo Freuler. All these guys, man. You know, maybe we could see a few changes. Maybe guys like Akafor and, as I mentioned, like Manzambi get a look in, you know. But they have some very, very talented players on this Swiss team. No, I may miss a few names, but these are the standout players. Other players will need to put their hands up when they have their opportunities. You know, Ruben Vargas. They have some really, really, really electric players in this team. And on the day, I think they're going to just be a little bit too much for Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Switzerland and make for an interesting finish to Group B here. Switzerland go up to 4 points. Bosnia and Herzegovina stuck on 1 point with their final match game here. Will come up against Qatar. So, yeah, that'll make for a really, really good finish to the group, in my opinion. Let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. I don't want to be too long-winded, you know. Just want to let you guys know how I feel and just to actually talk about these matches. Canada versus Qatar. Let's move on to the other game in Group B. It will be played in Vancouver, Canada. Previous matches, 1-1 draw for Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And Qatar, they snatch a late point against Switzerland from the jaws of defeat. So kudos to Qatar. But they now come up against a host nation. One of the host nations, one of 3 host nations, Canada. The group is basically there for the taking. Could the AFC champions, the Asian champions, Qatar, spring a surprise here on Canada? Because they look good against Switzerland, you know what I mean? They soaked up a lot of pressure in defense. You know, their goal was peppered. They still managed to stay in the match, kept things down to 1-0, and scored a late goal, Chubulem Cookie, who we got to keep an eye on in this game. Very spirited player there. It just shows that this Qatar team under Julian Lopetegui possess a lot of character. A lot of character. So, this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Very interesting game. So, in terms of head-to-head, one previous meeting in an international friendly back in 2022 where Canada won the game 2-0. So, A lot of these players would have been involved in that match, so they would have memories of that game, and we'll be using that as some type of reference to study each other, along with some recent games coming into the World Cup. Players to watch for both teams. For Canada, Jonathan David. I think he was a bit wasteful in the opening match against Bosnia, and he has to step up, man. We could also see a situation where Jesse Marsh choose to go in with Kyle Larin alongside Jonathan David and drop the other guy. I think his name is Olawashe. I'm not too keen on the pronunciation of his name, but we could possibly see a situation like that, because you would want to reward a striker who is high on confidence, who basically saved your ass in the previous match. So we could see Larin getting a look in. So definitely keep your eye on Kyle Larin. Goalkeeper Maxim Crepeau. He kept Canada in the game with some very, very good saves. Has to be on point. Tajon Buchanan, one of the most talented players in this team. I think he has to step up. I think Steven Estacio, leader in the midfield, he needs a good game as well. I expect maybe 1 to 2 changes made by Canada. As for Qatar, Akram Afif, key man. He will start. He will be the focal point of the team. Anything that's going to happen special for Qatar, he's going to be involved, whether it's in the build-up, the assist, or the final product. It was kind of puzzling that Almoez Ali didn't even feature in the match against Switzerland. I expect him to come in here because the game needed an Almoez Ali. You know what I'm saying? He's the highest goal scorer of all time. And how do you have him on the bench wasting away? Like, come on. Come on, Lopetegui. You got to do better than that. Goalkeeper Abu Nada. He made a mistake that led to the Swiss goal, the penalty. And, but he made amends by pulling off some really, really good saves. He's going to be heavily involved here because, we saw what Canada did against Bosnia. They're not going to hold back. They're going to be very attacking through their fullbacks, Alistair Johnston and Richie Larea, if these are the two guys that start the game. Ed Milson Jr., he had a few opportunities, but he looked very, very sharp, but those opportunities were foiled by Gregor Kobel in the game against Switzerland. Bulem Cookie as well. It was quite fun to see him transform into a striker. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the game, it's like, yo, what are you guys doing? I got to go up, He basically went up as a striker and saved the game. Does Lopetegui go for youth? Or does he go back to some of his more trusted generals in, maybe guys like Hatem, or go back to Hassan Al-Hados? We could see a situation like that just to settle things down and, pull the strings and maybe take him off when the job is done. It's left to be seen, definitely. In terms of injuries and suspensions here, Canada's most likely going to be without Alphonso Davies from the start again. He was on the bench for the first game. Don't know if he was fit enough to even feature, but he was definitely on the bench. But if he's going to be on the bench, it means that he can play, right? I think they're going to only use him if they really need to use him. If they're winning the game, I don't think they're going to bring him on. If they're losing the game, I don't even think they want to risk him. But for the third match, I think they got to use him if he's available. As for Qatar, their squad is listed as fully fit. What is my prediction for this one, man? Ooh! This is a must-win game for Canada. A draw won't suffice. The way I predicted the group to turn out, maybe a draw. But this is a must-win game for Canada, though. You got to win it. You do not want to go into your final game having to, it has to be a must-win. And you're playing the strongest team historically and according to FIFA rankings in Switzerland. You don't want to be playing Switzerland in the final match day. needing points. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, that's a no-brainer. I know anything could happen on a day, but that's not what you want. You want to go into the game against Switzerland knowing that maybe you need 3 points to top the group, or maybe you need 1 to maybe even top the group, or 1 to go through a second. And even if you lose the game, you're still going to be good as a third place team going through. But you do not want to go into this game on 1 point or even 2 points. Canada must win. It's a must-win game for the Canadian here. Must win. As for Qatar, another draw would be great for them. A win even better. I won't take Qatar lightly. But for this one, I think Jesse Marsh and his boys pull it off. They're going to be a lot more clinical. They may make a few changes. And I want to see Kyle Lawrence start this game. I think Kyle Lawrence should start this game. You know, handle business early in the match. Take him off. You could bring on the Oluwaseyi guy and, you know, do what you got to do. But I can see Canada winning this game 2-1. It's hard to write off Qatar. It's really, really hard to write off Qatar. I don't want to regret these predictions, but I have to make some predictions. I don't want to write off Qatar. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 to the co-host, Canada. Is it a boring prediction? Should I? You know what? Nah, I'm going to stick to a 2-1 win for Canada, though. Canada, don't let me down, man. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. But anything could happen, though. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Can Qatar pull out something special? Quite possible. Guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. Subscribe if you like the video if you haven't yet done so. Let me know your predictions down below. Let me know how you're enjoying the World Cup as well. And until next time, peace out. Rich Squad. Yeah, it's hard to see Canada losing, man. The backing of the crowd, you know, the atmosphere. You know, they just got the, you know what I mean? The adrenaline to push them further if they need it. I don't see them losing, man. Maybe a draw, but I don't see them losing. Not at all.